Lesnar, or Brock Lesnar will cost The Rock the WWE Championship after Brock Lesnar becomes frustrated with a loss to Triple H at WrestleMania at the hands of the Generation X, who could also potentially feud with CM Punk or The Shield in the weeks leading up to WrestleMania or after WrestleMania as part of the fallout. Either way, we will see Brock Lesnar face The Rock at some point, either for the WWE Championship or in a match as the aftermath of WrestleMania. I just see The Rock staying around with WWE, with rumors of him retiring being absolutely bogus with how much publicity The Rock has been receiving during the last few years in his run with the WWE leading up to him winning the championship in Phoenix. I love the promo of The Rock the night after the Royal Rumble where he talked about having the privilege of winning 7 championships from 1998 to 2003. Very incredible promo given by The Rock, and that leads me to believe The Rock is going to be the champion for a substantial amount of time, as opposed to lose the championship to John Cena or CM Punk in 69 days at the WrestleMania pay-per-view. I think that would be injustifiable for The Rock, because I think The Rock needs a worthy championship reign that fans are going to remember, not just a 70-day reign that no one is really going to make reference to years from now. Something else that CM Punk alluded to in the promo where he came up in front of The Rock and called The Rock a con artist and called the entire WWE Executive Committee a bunch of con artists was that in 20 years from now, wrestling fans are going to look at CM Punk as being a genius. I think I'll be one who refers to CM Punk as a genius for some of the innovative ways and the Harry Houdini qualities he exemplified as WWE Champion. 20 years from now, when I'm about in my mid-40s, I'll be looking back at CM Punk's reign saying to myself, how in the hell did he manage to do half of the things he did as WWE Champion? That was the most honest thing that CM Punk said, and I loved how he incorporated swearing into his promo. It really gave us an attitude or a feel, and how The Rock goaded CM Punk into coming down to the ring and trying to take the WWE Championship away from him. It was almost like we were seeing The Rock and Mick Foley, renewal of their rivalry from the late 1990s when we saw everything from an I Quit match to an empty arena match. I mean, the CM Punk Rock thing can go so many ways, but I see just as controversial of a conclusion to their championship match at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view on February 17th as we saw this past Sunday at the Royal Rumble. Out of all the matches that took place at the Royal Rumble this past Sunday, with the unpredictable returns of Chris Jericho, Goldust, and several others, and with how the statistics really add up for the Royal Rumble, with John Cena becoming the 4th man in history to win double Royal Rumble matches, joining the likes of Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold Steve Austin from years such as 95, 96, 98, 97. I mean, it's just incredible looking back at the Royal Rumble winner statistics and just the performance of several superstars in that match, like Dolph Ziggler, Chris Jericho lasting over 47 minutes, Sheamus lasting the time limit of over 36 minutes, Randy Orton coming out number 26 and lasting a considerable amount of time, and having several of the final participants in the match being John Cena, Ryback, and Sheamus. Just incredible. And I love the follow-up of the 3 Royal Rumble participants who were some of the final participants in the match, and their chemistry working together against the Shield. I see somewhere along the lines of a 6-man tag team match where we'll see Cena, Ryback, and Sheamus taking on the 3 members of the Shield, who are very, very destructive in the past few weeks on WWE television, both on Raw and SmackDown. They're going to be a huge force to be reckoned with at WrestleMania, and I'm really looking forward to finding out what they're going to be doing with the 3 superstars who are now posing a threat, if anything, to the Shield. And I'm really looking forward to finding out what they're going to be doing with Brock Lesnar's re-emergence in the WWE for the first time in 6 months. I was in high anticipation of Brock Lesnar being involved with the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, costing The Rock the title, or being involved as one of the 30 participants in the Royal Rumble match. Some of my predictions held out to be true. For the Royal Rumble, we saw Chris Jericho return, which was one of my main predictions. We saw several other returns in the way of Goldust and The Godfather, even though not too much was done with their returns. But one of the biggest pops of the night came from Goldust's entry into the Royal Rumble match. I can't remember the last time we even saw Goldust in a Royal Rumble match. I know it was in the mid-1990s, but it was cool seeing him in the match, and seeing The Godfather last as long as he did in the Royal Rumble match prior to being eliminated by one half of the Tag Team Champions, who were successful in defending their titles earlier that night. I'm not sure if The Godfather beat the record of Santino Marella from 2009. I know Santino Marella defeated the Warlord's record, but I think The Godfather lasted a shorter amount of time than the Warlord did in the Royal Rumble match. I'm not sure on that statistic. That would be an interesting statistic to look up. But now we have so much to look forward to as the fallout from the Royal Rumble will continue in the coming weeks on both Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, starting with this Friday's major announcement from Booker T. At least we will know the future of the World Championship. We won't know the future of the championship 100%, but at least we'll know over half of the equation in the weeks leading up to the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. And I'm really interested in finding out now with the WWE title scheduled for defense between CM Punk and The Rock, where CM Punk believes he's giving The Rock a rematch from the Royal Rumble. He's giving The Rock a chance at being the best in the world. I think CM Punk is really delusional, and being champion for over 434 days is really going to his head. It's really going to be cool to find out what the match is going to be like between CM Punk and The Rock, and also what the Raw Elimination Chamber match will detail. Something else that I really enjoyed about the Royal Rumble pay-per-view was the promo prior to The Rock's championship match, where he referenced his mother having cancer. I want to wish her all the best in her battle with cancer. I know what that's like, having a family member battling with cancer. My mother battled with cancer for months and months and months before losing her battle, so I want to wish her all the best in her battle with cancer. I loved how The Rock also referenced the fans and how the fans mean so much to him over the last 15 to 16 years, and that they still meant so much to him. And he proclaimed the beginning of the People's Era, which is really, really cool. I want to see where they go with that, and it was just amazing hearing the promo of The Rock at the Royal Rumble, and again the following night on Raw in Vegas. I mean, that was the first time The Rock had showed up in Vegas for years, and I think that was a very memorable promo. One of the things about The Rock's promos ever since his return are they're so genuine. They're kind of like Paul Heyman promos, where you can just feel the genuosity coming through in these promos. And even Paul Heyman's promo where he came out and tried to explain his actions to Vince and his relationship with the Shield sounded so genuine. It was almost like The Rock was learning from Paul Heyman's promos prior to his return in 2011, and it wouldn't surprise me if Paul Heyman was writing the majority of The Rock's promos, especially with him being involved in a recent Rock program with CM Punk. I wouldn't surprise me at all if Paul Heyman had some of The Rock's promos, because both The Rock's promos and Paul Heyman's promos sound so genuine and so realistic that it's just unbelievable hearing what they have to say. I'm also excited to find out what they're going to be doing with Chris Jericho and Dolph Ziggler's rivalry, and how Big E Langston will fit in with all of this. I can see somewhere along the lines of Chris Jericho finding a tag team partner to go up against these two. I love the renewal of the rivalry, and I think that's a great way to bring Chris Jericho back into the WWE for the first time in 6 months. A lot of 6-month returns are happening with Chris Jericho and Brock Lesnar. A lot of stuff could happen between now and WrestleMania, and I love how legends and superstars who have been there for a substantial amount of time are now finding their way back into the WWE. That really adds a lot of unpredictability to WrestleMania, and I love how Chris Jericho, Dolph Ziggler, and Big E Langston are going. And I loved Chris Jericho's promo where he made fun of Big E Langston's name, saying that he's only got an E in his name. It was so funny, and just thinking about it makes me want to bust out laughing here on the show, which is incredible. Something else that they did as part of a Royal Rumble follow to celebrate John Cena's win of the Royal Rumble that I found really cool was they actually broke the statistics down of a matchup between John Cena and Fred Flintstone, if that match was ever to come into fruition, let's say, at a WrestleMania. I love the statistics of how Fred was a crane operator, John Cena was a multi-time champion, and they kind of debated who would come out on top as a result of the match between John Cena and Fred Flintstone that would be derived from John Cena kicking Fred Flintstone off the box of Fruity Pebbles. He joins Bam Bam on the latest edition of the Fruity Pebbles cereal box, which was something that was predicted for months after The Rock returned, referring to John Cena as a big fat bowl of Fruity Pebbles. It's nice to see that things are finally coming to fruition with John Cena and children's cereal. But I debated that even before WWE brought up the idea of having John Cena face Fred Flintstone in a WrestleMania match. If you actually checked out Cheap Shots with Jonathan Clarke a few weeks ago, I posted 2 image blogs for Cheap Shots with Jonathan Clarke referencing John Cena being on the cover of the Fred Flintstone cereal box. And I actually wanted to find out who would win a match between John Cena and Fred Flintstone. It's nice to know that someone from WWE potentially read my blog and actually took the time to write up the statistics in a match between John Cena and Fred Flintstone. The tail of the tape was really interesting. So I think that everything for WrestleMania 29 taking place this year in New York is really coming to fruition and really shaping up decently. I love the idea of having a triple threat match for the first time in years being a high potential for this year's WrestleMania, and I hope they go the direction of having CM Punk, The Rock, and John Cena in the same match, and I hope they have something equally as impressive for the world title match. We know we're going to see Triple H and Brock Lesnar solidify their match at WrestleMania 29, a rematch from SummerSlam of 2012. Match that took 6 months to come into fruition after Triple H quit the WWE and Brock Lesnar quit the WWE, Triple H quitting it the week after Brock Lesnar's post-SummerSlam promo. And it's very interesting how I posted a video blog for Cheap Shots with Jonathan Clarke referencing the last time we saw Brock Lesnar, where he said he would never return to the WWE ever again. It's going to be interesting to find out what his explanation is as to why he returned the night after the Royal Rumble. I was anticipating Brock Lesnar's return, and it's going to be fun to see what WWE do with this in the weeks leading up to WrestleMania 29, which is just a little under 69 days away. I'm going to be really interested in finding out what WWE are going to be doing. Just so much happened from this year's Royal Rumble. I think this is one of the most eventful Royal Rumbles that we have seen, even though it was predictable. It was one of the most eventful Royal Rumbles that we have seen in the last quarter of a century, when Royal Rumble matches have produced winners such as Randy Orton, John Cena, Shawn Michaels, Sheamus, Alberto Del Rio. In the past, it took John Cena 5 years to win his second Royal Rumble match, becoming the fourth superstar in wrestling history to do that, and that leads me to believe that this year is going to be more prominent and more productive for John Cena than last year was, when he virtually lost every opportunity. And I see how John Cena won the Royal Rumble match, fitting his character so significantly well. I mean, him winning the Royal Rumble match and overcoming diversity the way that he did was really, really incredible, and his comparison in the tail of the tape to Fred Flintstone really adds to his character too, believe it or not, in so many unimaginable ways. I just am really looking forward to finding out what WrestleMania 29's card is going to be, and I'm hoping at least one if anything, of my fantasy matches holds it to be true. I'm going to love to see Triple H facing Brock Lesnar, and the potentiality of DX returning and reuniting for the first time in years at a WrestleMania is going to be fun. I think one of the last times we saw Generation X actually form an alliance at WrestleMania had to have been WrestleMania 14, so it's going to be the first time since 1998 we could potentially see DX and a rivalry for WrestleMania. I mean, so much goes along with WrestleMania this year. It's unbelievable, and I'm looking forward to it just as much as an everyday wrestling fan. The follow to the Royal Rumble can be viewed on our website. We have a lot of stuff on our website from the Royal Rumble. Our Image Center posts